Okay, so here's what our assignment was. This is quite large, but I really want it that way, so bear with it. You were doing 1 and 1.4, compare and order decimals, and this was on page, let me look at that, up 27 and 28, and you were doing all the problems. And everybody, we were able to get up to question 8. And so you only had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 problems to do this evening. So let's get started. We did all of this in class, and I'm going to bring this up just a bit. So I was letting you know that you needed to stack so that you can see, and that is doing the place value chart. So I have 9 and 23 hundredths and 9 and 32 hundredths. My ones place are all equal. I see the change here, so that is going to be 2 is less than 3, so it's the less symbol that we're putting there. Let's look at the next one. And number 2, we said that this was equal. You can add a 0 here, or you can just take the zeros off, and it is equal to each other. Number 3, I'm going to stack these up. Can you easily see it? If you start stacking and doing a place value chart, make sure that you are lining up your decimals. I can see that first of all, the ones place is equal. Then in the tens place, 9 is greater than 4, so it's going to the greater. Okay. The next one, I'm going to stack this 4 and 44 hundredths and 4 and 0 44 thousandths. So we don't say 0 44 thousandths, we'll just say 4 and 44 thousandths. Now I'm going to compare my ones. Those are equal. Go to my tenths. I can see that the 4 is greater than 0, and I put my greater sign. Moving over to 5, 3 and 61 hundredths and 3 and 87 hundredths. And those of you that were absent and you're working on this, I have posted the notes for you so that you could see it. 3 is equal to each other. I see that the 6 is less than the 8 in the tenths place, so I have less than. You can see that right here. And number 6, you can see that I can take the 2 zeros away and they're still equal. Or if you wanted to, you can add the 2 zeros. That's your preference. Remember, we talked about tools. So if you're playing in class, you can't build your toolbox with strategies to help you solve the problem. So it's really important that you stay focused. I'm going to order from greatest to least, biggest to smallest. In class, I showed you that you were going to list them. I think I will have room here. So I have 7 and 81 thousandths, 7 and 81 hundredths, 7 and 2 thousandths, and 7 and 14 hundredths. I'm going to place a 0 as my hero so that I can just take that space up. I am looking for the biggest number to the smallest, so I can look into my ones place. Always start from left to right, just like when we're reading, we read from left to right, and this is all equal. Then I'm looking for the largest, so I have 7 and 81 hundredths is right here. I can cross that out, and I can cross this out. I can add the 0, but I'm not because this is my original, but if I wanted to, I can still do it. I can still see I have a 1 here, so I'm going to add in the 1 and 14 hundredths. Now I'm left with 2 zeros that are the same, so I'm moving to the next place value. Here I have an 8 and a 0, so this is next, my 7 and 81 thousandths, and the last number is 7 and 2 thousandths. So here I've listed from greatest to smallest. I'm going to do the same thing with number 8. 1 and 1/1000ths, 1 and 1/10, but I'm going to add 0 is my hero. 1 and 403,000ths, and 1 and 78,000ths. I'm going to start with my place value, starting with the ones, going from left to right. I can see they're all equal, so I'm going to cross that out. Moving over here, I see that I have my 4 is the largest number, so I'm going over to my list, and I'm going to write 1 and 403,000ths is the first one. Cross that out. The next is going to be, we'll look at that, 1 and 1/10. Cross that out. I have 2 zeros, so I need to move to the next column to see which is the greatest number, and it's 7. So I'm going to write my next number, which is 1 and 78,000ths. And the last number is going to be, I'll see if I can squeeze that in, 1 and 1/1000ths. You did order and comparing decimals last year, but you didn't do the thousands. You went up to the hundreds, but you're still following the same format. You're still following the same process of your thinking. Let's go with this one here. I start off with 400ths. Then I have 5/10ths, and 0 is my hero. The next one is 21,000ths, and I'm going to place a 0 here and a 0 here to fill the spot in. And the last one is 133,000ths. I can see in the ones place, I have all zeros, so I'm crossing that out. The next largest number is I have 5/10ths, cross that out. Then I have 133,000ths because I'm still in the tenths. Cross that out. Now, the last two numbers both have zeros. Because of that, because they're equal, I need to move to the next place value, which is going to be the hundreds, and I need to find the digit that's higher, so it's going to be 40. It's going to be 400ths because I added, or 40,000ths, but I'm going to write in 400ths, and then the last one is the 21,000ths. Okay, let's look at number 10. I have a 4, so this is going to be 4 wholes, no tenths, hundreds, or thousandths. The next number is 4 and 22,000ths. The next number is 4 and 2,000ths, and the last one is 4 and 221,000ths. I can see starting in my ones place, they're all equal. I have 0, 0, 0, 2, so my largest number is going to be 4 and 221,000ths. Cross that out, cross that. Because they're all zeros, I'm moving over to the next place value, and I see a 2 here. So I'm going to write that number, 4 and 22,000ths. Cross that out. And I have 2 zeros, so I'm moving over to the next digit, or the next place value, or the next place, and it's going to be 2. There's a 2 and a 0, so the next largest number is 2,000, leaving me with 4 as the smallest number. Okay, let's look at here, number 11. We did this in class. 5 and 345,000ths is greater than 5 and 344,000ths, and I know that to be true because this is greater Then I have to switch this over, so I'm going to hide that and move that over here. 5 and 344 thousandths is greater than 5 and 343 thousandths. So looking at the thousandths place value, that makes it a true statement. Let's look at number 12. This is what I'm working with. So 8 and 25 hundredths is less than 8 and what? If you put the 2 here, that's 26. Is that a true statement? No, it's not. So let's put a 16. Oh, it can't, because remember, this number's got to be bigger, so that makes it smaller. So let's move to our 3. Is 8 and 25 hundredths smaller than 8 and 36? Yes, it is. So now let's check. Is 8 and 36 hundredths less than 8 and 361 thousandths? Yes, that's true. So if you needed to confirm that, if I have the 36 and a 0, 8, 3, 6, 1, these are the same, these are equal, and 1 is greater, so 0 is less than 1, so that is a great one. Okay, let's move to number 13. Which number can I put here? So I have 6 and 48 hundredths is greater than 6 and, can we put that number? Can we just start off with an 8? No, it's going to be too big. It does work for this one, but it doesn't work for the first one. So I'm going to change this to a 7. Now, does that make that? Is 8 greater than 7? That makes it true. Now let's move over here. Is 6 and 471 greater than 6 and 470? Yes, it is. So that makes it a true statement as well. Remember, you can pause this video at any time so that you can catch up and then start play. Press on play to continue. Jack travels 2 and 4,500 miles to school. Wanda travels 2 and 3,100 miles to school. Compare the distances using words. So in some classes we were able to do it, but I don't think that we didn't do it in the last block. So what can you tell me about Jack's travel and Wanda's travel? So Jack travels 2 and 4,500 miles to school, and Wanda travels 2 and 3,100 miles to school. I can say that Jack travels, very good, a greater distance to school than Wanda travels. Okay? You can word it any which way. This is just getting to the point. Let's look at number 15. In jumping contest, Marcus jumped 1 and 2/10 meters. Gustavo jumped 1 and 29 hundredths meters, and Lorena jumped 1 and 202 thousandths meters. Who won the jump? Okay, so I need to draw a picture of this so I understand. Here I have, this is 1. This is going to be Marcus. And this is 1 here. And this is 2 hundredths. 1 and 2 hundredths. This is going to be 1 and 29. I know that'd be a lot closer, though. I should have closer, but that's okay. So it's like, oh, wait, he's 1 and 29. hundredths. So this is Gustavo. And Lorena was 1 and it's almost like 20, right? So Lorena's here. Who jumped the furthest? Oops, I'm sorry, I saw that now. Okay, so that's what I did. I drew out a picture, kind of giving me a ballpark. So you can draw out a picture or you can stack them. This is going to be Marcus. This is 1 and 29 hundredths. This is Gustavo. And this is 1, that's supposed to be a 9. It looks like an A. And this is 1 and 202,000. So I'm going to place a 0 and a 0. And this is Lorena. All right. I know that all my ones are equal. Okay, so we know that Marcus was the shortest distance, so I don't need him. I needed to find the longest distance. So between Gustavo and Lorena, they're the same. So I need to move over. So here, between the 9 and the 0, 9 is greater than 0. So it was Gustavo that won. So you can draw it out. You can put it in place value to help you solve. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's look at 16 and 17. I want to make sure, hold on just a sec. Okay, so bubble in the completed to show your work. Bubbling completely. Which number has the greatest value? So you're going to be stacking your numbers. 9 and 382 thousandths. 9 and 47 hundredths. 0 is my hero because I have my thousandths right there. 9 and 9 hundredths. That 0 is my hero, so hold the 0 for the thousandths place. And 9 and 7 tenths. 0 is my hero to place it under the hundredths and the thousandths. Looking at here in my ones place, starting from left to right, they're all equal. So I'm going to move over to the tenths place. The largest number is a 7, so the greatest number is 9 and 7 tenths. Okay, let's look at number 17. Carrie is comparing the number 9 and 207 thousandths and 9 and 210 thousandths. What is the least place value she needs to compare to decide which number is greater? Okay, so let's look. I'm going to write these down. I'm going to stack them. And when I stack them, I'm doing my place value on here. Starting from left to right, the 9s are equal. The 2s are equal. And now this is the ones place. This is the tenths. So which place value do the numbers change? Very good. They're going to change in the hundredths. It's going to change in the hundredths, but I misread the question. Okay, because now I'm just seeing it. It was in such a rush. Okay, so if you had put the hundredths because it's like what place value changes, that's right. It changes in the hundredths. But what I failed to read is to compare to decide which number is greater. So I needed to find out of these, which is the greatest number. It's still going to be it's in the hundredths. Okay, so it's going to be the hundredths because 9 and 21 hundredths is greater than 9 and 207 thousandths. because here, this is where the numbers change, and it changed in the hundredths place value. Okay, so I did that right. Which number has the least value? Okay, which one is the smallest value? So now I'm going to stack it. So we're looking for the smallest number. So all my 7s are equal. Okay, these two are large, so I'm going to cross those out. Now I have my 2 zeros to compare. So I'm going to move to the next place value. This is a 3, and I have a 0, so this is my smallest number. Don't get confused. It didn't say the largest, it said the smallest. All right, let's look at number 19. In 5 and 820 thousandths, what is the place value position of the 0? And the 0 is in the thousandths place value. Okay, all right, let's set the number 20. It's a multi-step. So we have Jenna compares the lengths of her pet fish. The table shows the lengths of the fish, which shows the length in order from greatest to least or biggest to smallest. And if you need to write from big to small, then do so to help you remember. I'm going to list these. I have O for Oscar, 4 and 32 hundredths. I'm just going to write Gus is 4 and 55 thousandths. I'm going to put 0 as my hero. Jem is 4 and 21 hundredths. 0 is my hero. And then S for Spots, 4 and 7 tenths, 0, 0. All right, I need to go from big to small. Looking at my list, I can see in my ones place, they're all equal. So my next, going to the next place value, I have to look for the largest number. So that's 7. So it's going to be Spot. So I'm looking over here at my choices. I'm going to get rid of the ones that don't have spots. So this checks and this checks. The next one, so I'm going to cross this out. The next largest is Oscar. Well, I have Oscar here and Oscar here. The next largest number is Jem, and this is where I have Jim, and then it would be Gus. So the answer is D. If you put them in a list with their place value starting from left to right, it's much easier to see. This is showing your thinking, and this is what I want to start seeing. Okay, now it says that look at this table in question 20. So this is the table I'm looking at. What if the gym grew 5/10 inches? So now I have, so the gym is 4 and 21 hundredths, which would show the lengths in order from greatest to least. So I'm going to take out my 4 and 21 hundredths, which is the gym, and I'm going to add 5/10 to it. I have to line up my decimal when I'm adding. That rule never changes, and you learned that last year, and you learned it in 3rd grade too. So it's 1, 5, 6, 7. Bring down my decimal. So now Jim is this one. So I'm going to repeat. I have Oscar at 4 and 32 hundredths, but I'm going to put my 0, my hero. Then I have Gus, 4 and 55 thousandths. Then Jim is the new one at 4 and 71 hundredths. 0 is my hero. And then I have Spots at 4 and 7 tenths. 0s are my heroes. Now I'm going from greatest, biggest to smallest, greatest to least. So all my 4s are equal. I have 2 7s. So I need to see which one is going to be larger. So I'm going to move these over to the next. And I can see that now Jim is first. And there's a Jim here, so I can cross out these two. Then it's going to be spots. Okay, well, there's a spots there and a spots there. So I'm done with these two. Now, which is the next largest? It would be Oscar. Very good. And then it's going to be Gus. So the answer to that one is C. So do you see how much work you had to do to get that? All right. Guys, that was really great work. Yay, 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 yay. And yippee. You won't see that on here, but cheers, cheers, cheers. I will see you tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to be doing rounding. The quiz has been switched to Thursday, and we're going to cover order of operations, a division, multiplication, adder, subtract equations, prime and composite, and then decimals of everything we've covered so far. All right, have a great evening. Bye.